is up, my fellow Chiebits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly review of RWBY Volume 4, titled, 2 Steps Forward, 2 Steps Back. Such an interesting name when you really take a moment to think about it, how much meaning that name has towards the entirety of this episode. Let's just factor this in, okay? The title says 2 steps forward, and then 2 steps back. So the first 2 major scenes of this episode focuses on Yang, and then right after that, it focuses on Weiss. And if you think about, what's going on in their individual scenes, you see a lot of progression with their characters, how they're changing, how they're setting their plans into motion of what they need to get done. For instance, Yang is having a conversation with Tai. Tai is telling her, what is wrong with her fighting style, how she uses her semblance to constantly overcome every different situation before her, any type of battle. She likes to plow through things straightforward instead of trying to think about it and go around it, trying to, outthink her opponent. She usually plows straight through any obstacle before her instead of trying to think it out and try to figure out a way she can go around this obstacle instead of just destroying it and trying to go full force with full out strength and her semblance. That is what Tai was trying to teach her, how you need to from now on, instead of always relying on your semblance to be your trump card always to win all the time, you need to be able to overcome opponents before you without using something like that, because your semblance, it's a very good semblance, but it's not something that's going to win every single fight. It's kind of like this. You can use your semblance, you can power up and all that, you can dish back the damage that was dealt to you, but then what's stopping this person that you're fighting to be even stronger than that damage you're about to deal to them, and they're still up, you're very worn out, and all of a sudden that means GG right then and there. And so when you see that discussion between Tai and Yang, some very good development taking place for Yang to learn from her mistakes from her previous experiences throughout her life when it comes to her fighting style, to using her semblance. Now she's taking a different path where she doesn't always need to rely on that. She'll probably use tactics. She'll, instead of rushing in trying to beat the shit out of something using her semblance, she'll try to outsmart it and try to go around the situation if she needs to. Now after that, on the other side we have Weiss. She's making a lot of development. She is, being able to summon her knight that was in the White trailer. If any of you remember the original White trailer, which I do, one of my personal favorite trailers. I mean, I loved, the Red trailer, but the White trailer was a fucking epic trailer when it came to, RWBY's introduction and all that, the entirety of RWBY when it was getting announced. The White trailer was one of my favorites. I just love the song in it. I love the way it looked, and I mean, just seeing the way the knight was in that, everybody's thinking it was Snow White and stuff. And when you see that knight popping out and all that, I'm like, yo, like that is exactly what it looked like, almost exactly what it looked like in the White trailer, and I'm like, this is good. So Weiss is making some progressions, she's being able to summon something finally, and now she's being able to use her semblance and stuff. I'm like, this is good, this is very good to see from her character, and seeing how she's making a lot of progression with her training, and now she's going to be probably putting her full motives into trying to escape the family, and getting out of here to, meet back up with her friends, and really focus on the problems that are going on out inside the world. So, once again, let's just talk about these 2 different scenes, okay? They're separated, they focus on 2 different characters in their development, but that is 2 steps forward. I mean, think about this. Yang is making a step forward with her development. Weiss is making a step forward with her development and training as well. Now, the other half of the title is 2 steps back. For instance, going backwards, not really making much progression, or there's a lot of, I guess, things blocking your path. We see where Blake is going through a lot of struggle in this episode. She's still chasing after the Chameleon Faunus along with Sun, and things end up to where it complicates. I mean, right now we found out Blake knows about this Chameleon Faunus, they have a relationship, and then on top of that, you see it to where Sun, after using his semblance and all that, he gets hit, and he is down. I don't know necessarily if he is dead or alive, but when Blake says, no, not again, that honestly made me sound like, oh, this is pretty sad. We're seeing, I guess you could say we're probably seeing some characterization / development here as well, but in terms of actually them trying to progress in a positive way, this is a step backwards, for instance. And so if you think about the title of, this episode, it makes a lot of sense. And I have to give credit to Rooster Teeth for doing something like that. It was very sneaky, but I did like that little, I guess, added addition to the episode with just that title. Because Blake, she takes a step back because now, once again, something very negative has happened in her life. And so right now, she doesn't know if Sun's going to live or not. I mean, I don't really know if Sun will die. I don't believe so, but there is a potential possibility. We'll have to see where that that goes. Now, the next scene after that, we have the stuff going on with Ruby and her team right now, with John and all them, and Crow, he's really in bad shape. He's having a dream while he's, you know, hallucinating because of the fever, because of the poison circling around in his body, and he's just not in good shape. He's not going to last much longer if he doesn't get some form of help, and the team has to split up. Ren and Nora have to go their own path, while John and Ruby have to go their other path, and so they're splitting up and having to do their own thing to try to look for help. And I mean, you see throughout the scene, throughout this entire situation, there's something very complicated going on with Ren. When you see this town come up called Kuroyuri, and you know, it's mentioned once again, he's like, the town was destroyed and all that, there's nothing there, and he's just getting very angry about it, and you just see these emotions leaking out of him. You see that this town, this name, has a very deep connection with him, and I mean, even at the end of the episode, when you see Crow being carried by John and them, you see this a big print, like this hoof print, which hints at whatever happened to Ren and Nora in the past. So, as we know from the last episode of RWBY, Crow is a bad luck charm. And I mean, if you think about the meaning of John, you know, carrying Crow at the end of the episode, it's like he's carrying a bad luck charm on his shoulders. He's carrying them on his back, and he's leading to where they need to go. So something really bad is probably going to happen to Ruby and John because of Crow being there. Or maybe Ren and Nora, you know, since they've been separated and Crow's with them, Ren and Nora is probably going to get killed or probably face something very bad in the future. Potential possibility of character development / characterization for them if Rooster Teeth wants to go down that path, since they'll be separated from the main crew. So, I mean, if you look at this scene as well with Ruby, it's also a step backwards as well. It's a very negative theme to that part of the episode, especially with Blake's part of the episode as well. So when you look at these, you know, 4 different segments of the episode, it references the title. And so, once again, I just want to point out, Rooster Teeth, very good job with that. I do respect that, and it's something I like to see in any type of series I watch, just to see how the title has such a very good meaning to the episode, and how you could easily miss it if you don't really pay attention to it, but it's there for those that really want to take the time to notice it. So yeah, I did enjoy that segment of the episode. So yeah, RWBY this week was entertaining. I had a lot of fun watching it. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next with the series, because I mean, right now, when there's so many things that can happen to Crow. Crow could possibly die, Crow could live. I mean, Raven could come in and try to save, you know, Crow. I mean, as we know in this episode, Raven was mentioned once by Tai, and he was talking to Yang about it and all that, and then Yang's like, oh, so I'm not all like my mother, and the whole reason why their team broke up in the first place was thanks to Raven. And when you see these type of scenes, I feel like what Crow was trying to say when he was hallucinating, I don't think he was necessarily trying to talk about Summer. I think he was trying to talk about Raven. Like, Tai, Raven isn't coming, or whatever. I think that's what he was trying to say. Maybe not Summer, but maybe Raven. He was trying to say that, because as we know, it's thanks to Raven why their team kind of split up in the first place. You even see it at the beginning of this episode. So maybe that's going on. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe Rooster Teeth is trying to hint that maybe Raven will try to save Crow, or for some reason, and he'll get healed. Potential possibility. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You'll have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.